Hello my beautiful jewels and gems. I feel like I have so much to share with you guys about what has been going on with me for the past month. And I've tried to make this video a few times, but it's definitely the most difficult video that I've ever made. And I'm trying to give a lot of information in a short amount of time, and that is proving to be very difficult. Because there's so much. But what I decided is I'm going to do a little bit today, and then I'm going to do more as in the coming weeks, kind of letting you guys know what's been going on with me and continuing to let you guys know, I guess, postpartum of a miscarriage, which is definitely no fun. But it happens. It happens a lot. There's for every 3 women, there's 1 woman who will lose her baby. And so we lost our baby about a month ago, and I wanted to let you all know who have been following my pregnancy journey, and I also wanted to put this out for other women that are dealing with this, because our society really makes this topic very taboo. Many times we're told as women, don't tell anybody you're pregnant until, you know, you're at least 2 or 3 months, and the reason for that is because of the likelihood of losing the baby. But I feel like that's detrimental, because you make the woman or the man that she's with, that is the father of the baby, feel like, you know, it's not okay to talk about the pain that goes along with it. And I just feel like that is just so incredibly terrible. Like, it's horrible. Like, I understand some people don't like to share, and I mean, a lot of us don't like to share. We just don't like to talk about icky, bad stuff. But it's happening, and if you don't talk about it, I feel like it just makes it worse. So, I mean, I've even had people tell me, oh, you should wait. And I knew when I started to share my story with you guys a month ago, a little bit over a month ago, that this could happen. I knew that this could happen. I was very fully aware. I wasn't really clear on how it happens and why it happens, but I did know that it did happen. But you know what, I walked out on faith, and I said, you know, I don't care what other people say. I'm gonna do this because I believe in this. I believe in God, and I know that, you know, He's gonna be there with me through it no matter what. I prayed a prayer around the time that I found out that I was pregnant, and I just asked God to protect me and to protect the baby. And I wasn't expecting that this was the way that He was gonna do that, but it is. And, you know, I am not mad at Him for that, because you never know why these things happen. Because really, honestly and truly, you know, His way of protecting me and the baby was this. And I don't understand why, you know, I don't know why it was, but I know that there's so many things that can go wrong with a pregnancy for me and for the baby. So I just had to accept what happened, and you go through this mourning process, and one of those stages of mourning is acceptance. And I mean, it doesn't make it easier, I guess, that's the reality. But how I had been dealing with it is knowing that it's God's will, and I had absolutely no control over what happened. So I feel like for other women and other men out there that are dealing with this horrible experience, you can find comfort in knowing that it was God's will, and He knows better than we do. And so that's how I've been dealing with this thing emotionally. And I've also had the support of my husband and my parents and my siblings and my aunties and uncles and friends and, you know, grandparents and everybody else around me. And I feel that I am so lucky to have that. Whew. Because, you know, a lot of women that get pregnant and lose the baby don't have that. And just the other things, like, I'm just so thankful that the little comforts that I could have, like clean water and other things that I use to kind of give myself comfort and get through this, you know, I was able to get it without a problem. Whereas I know other women in other countries or in other times, even in the past, couldn't have those little comfort things. And any little comfort that you can get during experiencing a miscarriage is amazing. You appreciate it so much. And this is a really serious thing. I mean, some people even want to go towards committing suicide, and I think the reason is because of the pain that you deal with. And I mean, I know that there's no reason that you should take your life for anything, and not this, because I mean, there is still hope, you know, but it's that painful. It really, really is. And even for a person like me, who I consider myself to be strong in the Lord, it's still difficult. It's very, very difficult. But that spiritual connection, relationship that I have with God, really has helped me through this. So I just want to start off with that. That's my emotional piece. I'll talk more about that maybe later on in more videos on, you know, overcoming a miscarriage. Like I said, it's been a month for me. I'm still healing, both physically and emotionally. Today I'm just going to try to briefly share what happened and why it happened, and then further on, you know, in the coming weeks I will continue to do Friday videos where I post, you know, about my pregnancy journey, and this is part of it. And it wasn't what I was expecting to be posting, but this is real life. This is what happens, and it's time to stop making people feel uncomfortable about feeling bad or feeling sad or expressing how much love and excitement they have for their unborn child. Like, it really infuriates me that our society does that, and I feel like we should be able to share our lives with our friends and our family, and we shouldn't feel bad about it. So as hard as this video is for me to make, I just really want to make it because I want to do it for all of you out there, and I want to do it for the other women that are dealing with this, that are also looking for someone else to say, hey, you know what, you're not alone. About a month ago, on a Monday, I was in the bed all day because I had an upset stomach. It felt mixed between, you know, the pain, the cramping that I would get during my periods, and then I had also eaten something that probably wasn't the best for me to eat, and that was also, you know, making me feel not so well. So I laid in the bed all day, and for me that is so uncommon. I never do that because I hate, you know, being stuck in the bed all day. I like to be up doing things. So then the next day, since I was in the bed all day that previous day, I was doing the most. I made a full, pretty much soulful dinner with greens and macaroni and cheese and some, you know, amazing meatballs with onions and bell peppers. I washed my hair, which dealing with this stuff ain't no joke. I washed clothes. I was doing a lot. I'm pregnant, and especially dealing with these really bad cramps that I was having at that time. So I continued on, and I did all those things, and I was not feeling well at all. And I started to pass little clots of blood, and I was used to, you know, the cramping, and even though it was excruciating, okay, and I was also used to the clotting, which you know, these two signs were not good, and now I know that. But you know, on my periods I deal with that, so I wasn't as alarmed about it. But it did have me a little worried. I wasn't really sure if it was supposed to be, you know, going on like this, because this pain that I was dealing with is terrible. It was just excruciating pain, and there shouldn't have been any clotting. Okay, so if you're pregnant and you see that's not good at all. Spotting, yes, a little bit of cramping, okay, but what the clots, not good, and the excruciating cramping also not good. So anyway, I was, as I had presumed, about 5 weeks pregnant. I did all these things. David got home. We went to a friend's house, kind of far away. It was about an hour drive. It was a horrible, horrible drive for me. The seatbelt on my stomach was killing me. It still hurts now, still recovering from this. And the jumpiness of the car, just rolling over on the freeway, really was getting to me because of the pain I was dealing with in my stomach. So it was just really horrible. So we got to the house. I got out the car. He actually helped me out of the car because I was afraid. I don't know, I felt like something wasn't right. So he helped me out of the car, and when I got out of the car, it was a big, you know, gush, and it was really embarrassing. Everything was everywhere. Went into the restroom, looked at it, didn't look probably the best. It was kind of a lot. So I was like, all right. So we ended up going to emergency. I felt very faint throughout that process. On the way in, I got another one of those big gushes, and then inside also. And so those were the three main, you know, experiences with that part of just like releasing. And I know it's kind of odd, but that's what happened. And then at first I was okay, but then I got to the point where I was having a hard time walking, and I was having a hard time doing anything really besides laying down. I mean, sitting up, anything. So the only thing that kind of kept me level was water. And I had been keeping water with me for being pregnant. I've talked to you guys about that. So that kind of soothed me and calmed me down. Taking deep breaths here because this is a lot for me. I'm trying to keep it together. So yeah, so that's what I was doing. The whole emergency experience was horrible. The only good thing that I think was the ultrasound lady was pretty nice. That was embarrassing and everything, because not only did she tried to do an external ultrasound, but that doesn't work very well when you're so early in your pregnancy. You can't see anything, especially if you're gassy. And so what ended up happening was she had to do the internal one, and it was all through when all this was happening, and it was horrible. The only good thing was I looked up and there were little butterflies on the ceiling, and that kind of soothed me, and I thought about like a green meadow or something, and I just started singing songs in my head to kind of help me through that. But yeah, that was pretty painful, the whole emergency experience. By the time that I left the emergency room, I couldn't walk without feeling I was gonna faint. So David wheeled me out to the car, we drove home, and then that was the end of the emergency room experience. And there was a lot, but I don't think it's really necessary for me to give you all the details, but those are the big things. What the doctor did say, though, of course I have to mention. Oh, and there was another good thing. The nurse was amazing. The doctor, not so much, but the nurse was amazing. She was able to tell me that our baby's blood was positive, which was amazing. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I was just holding on to hope because of the possibility. The doctor said, he pretty much told me that he could see my placenta, and there was a sac in my placenta, but there was no baby that he could see there, and there was no heartbeat either. And so that was horrible news. I tried not to cry because I wanted to kind of leave my crying for home, but you know, I was tearing up. I couldn't help that. It happened. And I, you know, we were trying to be, both of us, very positive. You know, David was amazing, man. I mean, there were times in that emergency room where he had to literally pick me up and move me, you know, because I had no strength. Everything in me was just a hot mess. Like, I didn't have any strength, and I was in a whole lot of pain. So he, you know, did whatever he could to comfort me. And we're in emergency, so there was not a lot of people caring for me there. You know, they were kind of just busy with a whole bunch of other things. But, you know, he did what he could to make me comfortable. And he was really sad too. I mean, I must say that as just as sad as I am and was then, we are both really suffering through this, and this is really difficult. It's not just difficult for the woman, it's also difficult for the man, especially if you're so excited to have a child. So I do want to say that he's been taking really great care of me. I'll talk more about that maybe later during the recovery part of this. But yeah, so he ended up wheeling me, you know, to the car, and the doctor had told us to pretty much put me on bed rest for 3 to 4 days, and then after that they would then take my blood again to check my HCG levels, and you know, and then he told me to get another ultrasound in those 3 to 4 days to check on the baby. And so we did. My levels were lower, which meant that I was losing the baby, and by the time I did go to get the ultrasound in those 3 to 4 days, like he said, everything was gone. My body actually had pushed out the baby completely, which was a blessing, because if your body doesn't physically push everything out on its own, then you have to get invasion, where they go in, and the way I understand it is they like vacuum the baby out of your uterus, and it's called a D&C, I think it's called, something like that, where they actually go in and they vacuum the baby out of you. And so I was praying, because I was in so much pain, and like I said, I'll make more videos on that part because I don't want to make this too lengthy, where that happens. So I was just glad that I didn't have to do that. And anyway, okay, this video is really long now. So I'm gonna go ahead and say I'll see you guys next week on Friday for another pregnancy update. Or, and it's not even a pregnancy update, it's more like a postpartum miscarriage update, as well as what happens after and recovering from the miscarriage. Alright, you guys, thank you for watching. Next week you will see more, advice videos and other videos that I'll be putting out, my normal videos, along with these, because I feel like there's some healing that needs to happen for a lot of people, and it's not just me. Alright, I love you guys, and thank you for everyone that has been sending up their prayers for me. They've really been working and helping, but I am still in a lot of pain, so any prayers, I appreciate those. You can start praying now. Miscarriages are not the fault of either of the parents. It happens naturally because of the genetics of the baby. It could happen randomly before you have a child, or even after. It could be many children and then a miscarriage. It could be many miscarriages and then a child. So don't feel like it's your fault. It all just has to do with the genetics of the baby. If the number of chromosomes are not correct, that are either joining between the egg or the sperm that comes together, then the baby will eventually expel. It will die because it's not able to grow properly. And if you know someone who's going through this, please just be supportive of them and just show them love. That's all you can really do. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next Friday with more information on this. I love you so much, and thank you for your support.